Guild Wars 2 is a different game than the one that released in 2012. It began as a project designed to innovate and shake up the modern MMO genre. The thing about innovation is that it's not always successful. Mistakes were made, and a lot of systems and features necessary to be a successful MMO simply were not there. 5 years later, however, and I think it's finally found the balance of tradition and innovation. Guild Wars 2 in 2017 represents a matured game. A game that's found its niche in the MMO genre and is making strides to expand. In my opinion, Guild Wars 2 is the perfect MMO to jump into this year, and I'll explain why. First of all, Guild Wars 2 has a unique and effective approach to adding new content to the game. The game features episodic story-focused content patches called the Living Story. This system allows these seasons of Living Story to lead into full expansions that will provide a large boost of new content, story, and a countless set of new features. Last year, Guild Wars 2 released its very first expansion, Heart of Thorns, and as we are approaching the end of Living World Season 3, our sights are slowly turning towards Guild Wars 2's second expansion, which is expected to release around fall of 2017. I'm excited to see how the developers build upon the foundation of the last expansion, and I think a lot of really big new features will be added, specifically regarding the 9 playable classes. Last expansion, the Elite Specialization system was added to the game, and at level 80, choosing an Elite Specialization fundamentally changes the gameplay of each class by granting them access to new traits, skills, and weapons. For example, in Heart of Thorns, the Ranger received the Druid Elite Specialization, and if you've played any MMO, you'll be familiar with the Ranger class. It's very similar to a Hunter or Archer type class that usually wields a bow and has a pet. Now, the Druid Elite Specialization unlocked the Staff as a new usable weapon, and transformed the Ranger from a mostly DPS spec to a more support-focused spec. In Heart of Thorns, each class received an Elite Specialization, and in Expansion 2, we can expect another set to be added. That means that on top of the base classes, or professions as they're called in Guild Wars 2, we will soon have 2 specializations to choose from for each class when you reach level 80. Because Guild Wars 2 does not have an expanding level cap, meaning the developers plan to keep it at 80 for the time being, the sense of progression even after you reach max level is important. Elite specializations are part of this answer, but beyond that, there's also the Mastery system. The Mastery system is an account-wide progression system available once players reach level 80. Essentially, by gaining Mastery points and unlocking Mastery tracks, you can gain access to new abilities, such as the ability to speak new languages, which gives you access to new vendors and zones, the ability to more easily craft legendary weapons, and my personal favorite, the ability to unlock gliding as a method of transportation. Mastery training progress is also account-wide, allowing progression to be made on any level 80 character that gains experience toward any given mastery. Gliding is my favorite mastery because of the way it opens up the game and allows you to explore the world in a unique way. In fact, gliding was such a big hit with the players that they made it usable in every map in the game. I think masteries such as gliding that improve and expand upon how your character can move and travel are absolutely fantastic, and I fully expect things like mounts to be added to the game at some point in the not too distant future. Believe it or not, but individual progression can go even further through legendary weapons and armor. In Guild Wars 2, there are 29 legendary weapons that you can craft, and the crafting process will take a lot of time and effort, but you are rewarded with weapons equal to the highest tier in the game. This is nice in and of itself, but the real draw of legendary weapons are how impressive the weapon skins are. They come with unique draw and stow animations, skill effects, and even unique footfalls. In addition to legendary weapons, the first set of legendary armor has just recently been added to the game. Legendary armor works much the same way as legendary weapons and comes in light, medium, and heavy forms. As far as instance content goes, Guild Wars 2 is probably in the strongest position it has ever been. In Guild Wars 2, you can choose to participate in dungeons, fractals, and raids, which all offer unique rewards. Dungeons are optional party-based PvE instances, each with their own story. The first time you play through one of the 9 dungeons, you will play through the story mode, which follows the main plot of the chosen instance. Once you reach level 80, you can play through the explorable mode, where the player is presented with at least 3 different paths to play through for each dungeon. The party votes on the option they will take through the dungeon, and the majority determines on which path they will take. The explorable mode dungeon is designed to be repeated with player actions and decisions, determining the occurrence of hidden or random events, along with the choice of a path. This mode requires significantly more coordination between team members, and because of this, it is far more difficult than story mode. Fractals take this idea of choice and randomly occurring events and bumps it up a notch. Fractals of the Mists is a special type of dungeon that consists of an array of mini-dungeons called fractals. where each fractal has its own story and environment. Fractals have unique mechanics and features and are designed to test the players to the max. When you begin playing through fractals, you will start at level 1 and you can progress all the way through level 100. As the difficulty scales, so too do the rewards, and because of this, fractals are one of the most popular methods of acquiring the highest tier weapons and armor. Beyond fractals, at the pinnacle of instanced content in Guild Wars 2, we have raids. Raids are 10-player squad-based PvE instances focusing on challenging combat and mechanics designed for level 80 characters, and represent some of the toughest content the game has to offer. Each raid encounter typically utilizes multiple phases with several unique mechanics, which test your squad's coordination, damage output, and positioning. Raids can be split into multiple wings, each with their own separate instance and boss encounters. Each raid wing also has special rewards that can only be acquired once a week. As of right now, Guild Wars 2 has 2 full raids to choose from, with more to be added after the release of the next expansion. The great thing about instance content like raids, which is by far the toughest content in the game, is that you don't have to participate to progress. You can gain the same or similar rewards through other instance content or through other game modes like PvP. PvP is not as strong as other aspects of the game right now, but between both PvP formats there is still plenty to enjoy. Guild Wars 2 PvP is split into 2 modes, Structured PvP and World vs. World. SPvP is your standard MMO PvP where you fight alongside and against other players to take control of capture points and earn points for your team. World vs. World, on the other hand, which is one of the biggest reasons why I initially started playing Guild Wars 2, is a very different animal. World vs. World is essentially a massive server versus server battle over 4 huge maps, sometimes involving hundreds of players at a time. In World vs. World, you battle for control over keeps, towers, and siege devices to score points for your server. World vs. World is designed to accommodate players that would not normally participate in PvP. For instance, the high player limit means that new players can get involved without immediately feeling pressured to contribute. In World vs. World, there are also PvE objectives such as hero challenges, events, and jumping puzzles. Even though Guild Wars 2 PvP has some aspects that still need to be improved, the fantastic mix of standard tab target combat and action combat that Guild Wars 2 has keeps me very, very interested to this day. The nice thing about both forms of PvP in Guild Wars 2 is that there are reward tracks, which allow you to earn rewards that you would only be able to gain through completing content in the open world or non-PvP world. This way, if you really enjoy PvP or don't enjoy instance content, you can still earn the same rewards. There's so many things that I love about Guild Wars 2 that I could keep talking about. Things like combat, the dynamic event system, the amazing narrative, exploration, crazy world bosses, the easy leveling process, and so much more, but I think I'll have to stop here. Like I said, all of these areas I highlighted are just a few of the many reasons why I think Guild Wars 2 is the perfect game to jump into in 2017. As of 2015, Guild Wars 2 can also be played from 1 to 80 completely free, with very few limitations, so there's absolutely no reason not to at least try it out. If you do end up liking what you see, the first expansion, Heart of Thorns, recently got a permanent price reduction from $60 down to $30. The developers also decided to lump in the base game into the price for the expansion, so as of today, you can buy Guild Wars 2 the base game, and the Heart of Thorns expansion, and a free level 80 boost, all for that $30 price point, which in today's gaming market is quite a deal in my opinion. So if you want to give Guild Wars 2 a try, you'll be able to find links to the free-to-play page and the hot purchase page in the description and comments below. With that said, I think that will about do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I sincerely hope to see you again in the very near future.